The big question for Colorado, we know they have playmakers. We know that. That's been established. They have playmakers at wide receiver, and they have playmakers in the secondary defensively. But have they improved enough on the line of scrimmage to go from being a flash in the pan to a legitimate player in the new look Big 12? That's a big question. Now, Pat Shurmur is the offense coordinator, and the offense last year was way too one-dimensional. I mean, way too one-dimensional. Now, he was around last year, but was an offensive analyst, but he became the full-time offensive coordinator about 4 games remaining in the season. And at those 4 weeks, it wasn't great. He led Colorado to an average of just 273 yards per game against 3 of the top 5 scoring defenses in the Pac-12. That was against Arizona, Oregon State, and Utah. So those moments weren't great, but I do think it had something to do with the level of competition that they had to face in those 3 weeks. But the offensive line was historically bad all year long. Deion Sanders was constantly under duress, was sacked an FBS high 52 times. An entirely new starting offensive line is projected, but how quickly can they get things together? Spring practice will be massive to figure out who the best 5 are. The other thing they're going to need to figure out is, can Jordan Seaton, a consensus 5-star prospect and the number 1 offensive tackle in the country, can he show enough to prove that he deserves a spot right away as a true freshman? That's a big question. They also went to the portal, added UConn transfer Yakiri Walker, a little undersized at 6'2", 270, but could he slide in at the center spot? Or will Tyler Brown, who was ineligible to play all of last year because of the true 2-time transfer rule, will he be able to maybe take over? That'll be interesting as well. And just a couple other things too. They got to be able to run the football better, man. They have to. You cannot put that much pressure on Deion Sanders. I know the weapons are great. I know Shedeur is amazing. You cannot put that much pressure and make it predictable for the opposing defense, knowing that you're going to drop back and throw it 60 or 70 times a game. I mean, they just had no balance whatsoever. So they have to take some of the pressure off, because last year they rushed for a Pac-12 worst 827 yards as a team. Now, sack yardages factor in, that's an atrocious number. 68.9 rushing yards per game. That was dead last in the conference. And Shedeur attempted an average of 42 passes per game in the 10 games he started and finished. So find some balance and find some players along both lines of scrimmage this spring if you're the Colorado Buffaloes.